I guarantee it. By the end of this video, you will be able to take any regular Russian verb and put it into the past tense. Now, is this just some outlandish claim to get you to watch the video? Well, I do want you to watch the video, but it's not outlandish. This is a fairly simple principle. And if you'll watch it until the end, my goal for this video is that you will be able to put any regular verb into the past tense, and here's the key, without thinking about it. It will just come naturally. Давайте начнем. Всем привет, меня зовут Jared, и я делаю русский язык легким. Hey everybody, my name's Jared and I make the Russian language easy. Putting regular Russian verbs into the past tense is really easy. It's just a two-step process. Let's take the verb играть here as an example. It means to play. The first step is to drop the темякий знак. That's all you have to do. Pretty simple and basic. And while играть is a first conjugation verb, we can see that because of the темякий знак, this first step applies towards first and second conjugation verbs. So if we wanted to take the verb любить, we would do the exact same thing. We drop the темякий знак. It also works for first and second conjugation verbs that have a slightly different ending. Take the verb гулять, for example, to walk or to hang out. You still drop the темякий знак. Смотреть, to watch. You still drop the темякий знак. It's the same for all regular Russian verbs. Now, when I say regular, there are a few verbs out there that are just funky in the past tense, and those you just have to memorize. But for the majority of the Russian verbs, it follows these steps. Okay, first step, drop the темякий знак. Not hard. The second step is to add the appropriate ending. And here are the endings. L, la, lo, and li. Now, if you know anything about Russian gender, you can probably see where we're going with this. We need to add one of these four endings, and now we just need to decide which ending do we add. The thing that happened in the past tense is what determines the ending that will be used. So let's take the verb играть, to play, for example. If we wanted to say he played, he is masculine, and so we're going to use the masculine ending here, L. So we drop the темякий знак, and we just add the Russian letter L, играл, he played. If it was she, она играла. If it was neuter, оно играло. And if it's plural, мы играли. And the thing to keep in mind here is that plural trumps any of the previous three. If the thing that has completed the action is plural, then it doesn't matter if it's masculine, feminine, or neuter. It automatically goes to plural. So does that make sense as to which ending you need to put on here? The ending you need is determined by the gender of the thing that completed or did the action in the past tense there. Okay, it's a pretty simple concept, but keep in mind the goal of this video is to get you to be able to put verbs into the past tense without thinking about them. So don't stop watching the video yet. Right now, you probably have an understanding of the concept, but we want to get you to the point where it just comes naturally. When you're speaking Russian, you're not thinking about that. And I can get you there. Just watch for a few more minutes. This is going to be an easy process and you're going to kind of cement that into your head there. And to do that, we just need to do a few examples. So let's take the verb кричать, to yell. Let's put that into the past tense. The first one I'm going to do here for you just so you can kind of see how it goes, even though it's a fairly simple process. And then I'm going to give you some to do. And it's this repetition that is going to help you to put these verbs into the past tense without thinking about them. So кричать. If we wanted to say he yelled, we drop the темякий знак, we add the appropriate ending, and because it's he, we say кричал, we add the L. If we wanted to say she yelled, она кричала. And if we wanted to say we yelled, мы кричали. Okay, not hard. Drop the темякий знак, put the correct ending on. Now I'm going to give you a couple examples here, and here's the key. While this is an easy concept, you need to practice this, and I would say practice it out loud. While you're sitting here watching this video, you're probably thinking, this is easy. I don't need to do this. And it is easy. But what's going to happen is 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, you're going to need this concept, and your brain, because it hasn't done it a million times, is going to have to stop and say, wait a minute, I got to go back to that video, and I got to drop the темякий знак. I got to figure out what the gender is. I got to put in the right endings, and then it can throw it out. And it's going to take you maybe half a second, which isn't a long time, but it's enough to make your speaking choppy. So as I give you these examples, practice them, and I would highly encourage you to practice them out loud. There's a million things going on while you're speaking Russian, right? If you've got one sentence, you've got to figure out what the subject is. You've got to think, okay, what goes into the accusative case? Is it feminine? Is it animate? Is it inanimate? What's its gender? What's the correct ending? And then if you want to throw in past tense, you got to figure that out. It's one more variable to put in. And then maybe you've got a shtoby or a katori clause, and you've got to figure all of that out. This is one of those simple items that you aren't going to have to worry about when you're speaking. So if there's another kind of nuance in the sentence that you need to think about, you can worry about that one to make your speech flow more smoothly rather than holding up and having to think about the past tense. This is sort of a gimme in Russian, but only if you practice them out loud. The first verb is chitat, which means to read. So how would we say he read? On chital. That's correct. You drop the temyaki znak, add the L. Okay, I'm going to give you another one here. Again, say these out loud. How would you say she read? Ana chitala. How would you say they read? Ani chitali. Good. I hope you're getting these. I hope you're saying them out loud. And every time you say them, they should get a little bit easier. They should get a little bit more natural, and you should think about them a little bit less. Okay, let's do a second conjugation verb here. Gavarit. And that means to speak. So if we wanted to say, I spoke, how would you put that into Russian? In my case, it would be я говорил. If you are a girl, then it would be я говорила. How would you say we spoke? Мы говорили. How would it be if we wanted to say they spoke? Они говорили. No change there. It's still plural, right? What if we wanted to say you spoke, like using the ty form? Now, that's a little bit of a trick question because it depends on the person that we're saying did the speaking. Is it a boy or a girl? Is it masculine or feminine? So if we said ty говорил, then that means the person that spoke would have been masculine. If we said ty говорила, then that means the person that did the speaking was feminine. Okay, here's another one for you. I'm going to take away the endings. Again, these should start to be coming naturally to you, saying them out loud. Panimat, which means to understand. So if we wanted to say, I understood, how would that be in Russian? Я понимал. And if you're a girl, it would be я понимала. Let's say вы, using the вы form of you. You understood. How would that be in Russian? That's correct, because вы is considered plural. You would say вы понимали. Now, maybe you're speaking to just one person, but it's on the formal form, and so you're using вы rather than ty. It still takes the plural ending. Even if that person is one and masculine and feminine, it doesn't matter. Remember that the plural always overrides the masculine and feminine endings. So if we wanted to say вы understood, it would be вы понимали. Okay, let's do one more here. Let's do жить, to live. If we wanted to say she lived, how would that be? Она жила. If we wanted to say you lived, as in ты, using the ty form, how would that be in Russian? Ты жил or ты жила, depending on the ty, if that person is masculine or feminine. All right, one more here under жить. If we wanted to say we lived, how would that be in Russian? Мы жили. Now, I hope those are coming to you naturally. I hope that the process is simple enough that you're not having to think about it. If you're still having to think about it just a little bit, take 4 or 5 more verbs and do what we just did there. Put them into the past tense. Super easy. You'll have them. Okay, now that you know how to put verbs into the past tense, what's even more important is that you know how to put them into the present tense. So, for example, I read, or I live, or I love. I've got a video right here which will explain how to conjugate all of those verbs into the present tense. It's just a 2-step process. I make it easy, and I help you learn the endings. Go watch that now. Спасибо и увидимся.